stabilized. Want to turn up the heat? We gotta move.
It is January 30th, 2013, and welcome to State of the Game. I'm your host, JP McDaniel. Let me get audio from these other guys. On the show tonight, we've got Artosis. What's going on, Dan? You in your B-boy outfit. What? Why?
That's
you
right.
just decided you're going to wear blue today?
Yeah.
Well,
I decided, me and Doa decided we're going to wear blue to represent Korea.
oh.
Well, I've got Celtic stuff on mine, but it's partially...
That's blue, though, right? Or is that just
It
the
is
weird
blue.
logo?
Yeah, no, it's blue.
Okay.
You know, I actually have my shade down, but it's just, like, so bright outside that it makes it look like it's not.
But you asked what's up with me, JP. Tonight, I'm going down to the airport, because tomorrow me and Tasteless are going to the Taipei Game Show down in Taiwan. It's going to be a blast. Meet some fans, check some stuff out, design some keyboard and mice, peripherals. It's going to be fun.
Are you
That's
guys still casting GSL or no?
Yeah, we're casting today, but unfortunately we will miss Stefano's match.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you get an STs, I guess, but...
That's right. Hopefully Stefano will go forward and we'll cast him around a 16.
Exactly.
Who's casting Stefano's match, then? Are Wolf and Keldor stepping in for that?
Keldor isn't back yet. He's still out there, so it's going to be a solo wolf cast.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
The Lone Wolf.
The lone wolf.
Ouch. All right. Well, we'll see how that goes. Doa, second week in a row now.
Hey.
You have saved us. QXC was sick today, so he bowed out of the show. What have you been up to the past week?
I have actually been really, really delving into Heart of the Swarm. I've got Doa Clan up and running, and we're having a lot of good practice games going, and it's a ton of fun, man. I love Heart of the Swarm. It's been my whole week. And I've also been preparing a little bit for the LoL finals, but honestly, it's been like mostly Heart of the Swarm, I gotta admit.
Cool.
Respect.
And mOOnGLaDe, been on the show, I guess, once or twice, at least last year. It's your first 2013 appearance. First off, congrats on the free-for-all win. I am Poland. I watched that. I think it almost seemed like you got eclipsed from Apollo's stupid GIF afterwards. the actual win there. But how you been, man?
Yeah, I've been really good, man. Yeah, it was a pretty unique experience in Poland, and yeah, that FFA win was just so good. It actually felt like a legit win. felt like a tournament champion after that.
Awesome.
After the epic Ultralisk hold on the tower.
Yeah. We were talking prior to the show. You've been playing a lot of Heart of the Swarm, right?
Yeah. I started playing a couple of days ago. Been playing quite a bit, getting used to it, enjoying the imbalances of the other races and whatnot. It's interesting.
Like what? We'll open the show up, I guess, with this, with your Heart of the Swarm experiences.
Widow mines. They're pretty ridiculous. They're not ridiculous, but I find them very hard to deal with at the moment. I haven't figured out like a very effective way to deal with them properly. They just kind of control the early game so much and allow Terran to just be very greedy. And late game, they're actually pretty useful too when they're with like Ravens and tanks and Vikings and like 10 Widow mines. It's like they're pretty strong, I must say. I haven't really found a way to crack that army. And the other one was the Oracle when it has the when it's got its gun shooting. I actually don't know exactly what the Oracle does, except that it has a gun and it can two-shot drones pretty much.
Yeah, that's it's with the energy or whatever, right? Where it has to charge up.
Yeah. And like by the time like you react, it happened once, and I sort of fly, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to switch over there and make them run in a second. And by the time I got them to run, I've already lost like 8 drones, and so what the hell? They just kill them so fast, man.
It's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
Have you found out what the answer to that is?
The answer?
Yeah, I mean, do you just lose the drones? Is that the answer?
You just gotta micro and get your queen in position, I guess, or maybe use a spore. If
well, the thing is, they can kill the queen just as pretty much fast if there's 2 or 3.
But they're gonna use
Well,
the
they
whole
get plus versus light, right? And Queen isn't like Queen's normal, I believe.
They're
kill
really
Queen there,
fragile
1-1.
too. Oracle's good? Really?
I got a build order for mOOnGLaDe. You go against Protoss. Yeah, no, you go pool hatch, Queen, Evo Queen. and then you can
You
get
don't even-
scores up.
Dude, you don't even need
right
Evo to
there
make
you
scores.
go.
They made it so you can just make them straight up.
What do you need? Just a spawning pool?
Yeah,
You need
this
nothing. You
doesn't
just need a
make any
drone,
problem.
man.
Jesus, I
I
didn't
You
saw
just
it.
need a drone?
I think so. I haven't really checked past the spawning pool, but
Can't
Yeah.
just score
That's
like
good.
3 shots in Oracle or something? Like spores kill them really, really fast.
yeah, they're pretty tough. They could like fly in and out. I think they could take
They're
a few
really
hits.
well. The Oracles are fast too. Yeah, but
Oh yeah.
they're way too strong though.
They're
that
not as fast as a
All-Star
Mutalisk,
team
though, right?
killed it.
I actually haven't been playing Heart of the Storm yet. I'm going to switch over on Tuesday when I get back.
I would
but,
say they're as fast as Mutas.
I was reading the stats, and Mutas have like 4 movement speed now. Holy crap.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
I'm excited to try to stop that with Protoss. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I've had a lot of fun with Mutalisk against Protoss. So.
Well, at least we have 5-range Phoenixes now. And can go up to 7. That's going to be sick. Wait, how fast is a Phoenix, though? That's not even 4, is it?
I don't know.
A Phoenix? A Phoenix is less than 4 movement speed, I believe,
we don't
right?
have a toss player here, man. It's up to you.
I used
I'm
to
a
be
toss-
fast,
I,
no.
I don't know the numbers, and I haven't played, so this is actually really hard.
Toss
to
is like
look
the
up.
race I don't play in Heart of the Swarm. I don't know, or Wings of Liberty, I guess. But
Well, while Dan's looking that up, what do you think about the Viper? Have you messed around with that at all?
Oh, I love the Viper. I actually think it's probably the coolest unit they put in to a Heart of the Swarm. I think it makes for like a really, really entertaining game to watch. Just
Absolutely.
having this really cool grappling hook thing, just pulling stuff around the map. It's actually really fun with mass meters too. If you're flying around a Protoss base and you just picking shit out, you can like
Right.
grab a High Templar before he storms and just pull it into your meters and stuff like that. So it's a lot of utility with that thing.
The other day, I think Idra was on Inside the Game. He was talking about how ZVT is heavily favored right now for Zerg. Do you agree with that? Have you had enough time with the game yet?
I don't think I've had enough time to really.
Okay.
I think like, yeah, I kind of let the one time I had like experience like mech late game, I kind of let them do whatever they wanted and take half the
They're
map.
4.25 guys. I can chase
Wow.
your units down with those. No problem.
Oh my goodness.
lucky
Yeah,
us.
I don't think I've had enough experience, but Vipers help a great deal against mech for sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, before we actually jump into the news here real quick, Dan, you played last night in the Code A qualifiers. How did those games go? Talk to me about them. I know you kind of mentioned it last night on Codes, but I was very excited when I saw the tweet because I was like, we've got some state of the game material for Dan.
Yeah. Well, I've actually been like playing a lot recently because last year I didn't get to play very much at all. Like I played as much as I could, but I was basically on an airplane all year, so I played a lot. Like practiced my ass off on Wings of Liberty. I actually got my level pretty good. Like I wasn't expecting to get through the qualifier, but I knew if I got like a reasonable opponent, I could give them a run for their money. And then I got this Zerg that I never heard of, and I checked his profile right before we started, and he was ranked 31 Grandmaster, and on WoongJin, which is a really good team from Kespa. And the first game was so frustrating, man. He did like a 9 pool, I think it was, on Cloud, and I never let Lings in against that. Like I have the build, and my probe is sitting in the little choke about to make the pylon. I have like 92 minerals, and he kills the probe and runs in 6 Lings, and I'm like, oh, all this practice. What is this? But it turns out that was probably for the best, even though I felt terrible after that, because the same game he owned me so hard on Whirlwind that Cloud Kingdom probably would have looked bad as well if it had gone macro like I was trying. So it didn't go well, but that group had like Stats and Junie and Supernova, and he 2-0'd Supernova. So that guy is like really, 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 really good. So
He qualified,
Oh, well.
didn't he? He actually
no, he
into
got
Code
second
A.
place.
Oh,
No. He lost
okay.
to True from Team 8 in the finals, another Zerg. So, yeah, man, Zerg's beating Zerg's is the only way, apparently. No, this guy was like way better than me. He was ridiculous. So, it was a frustrating thing, but I'm gonna keep practicing, get better, and hopefully I'll do better in the Heart of the Storm qualifiers. We'll see.
How soon are those happening, by the way?
A while away.
Okay.
We have 4 seasons of GSL this year, and this was
Oh,
the
wow.
qualifiers for the first season. So the next qualifiers shouldn't be until, I want to say, April. something like that. I
Okay.
don't have the schedule in front of me, and it hasn't been announced anyways. But it's a ways off, which is better for me because I still need a lot of practice. I haven't played any HOTS yet, really. So.
All right, all right. Well, let's go ahead and move on the show here. Talk about some news this week, and we'll start off with some news coming out earlier this week where Incontrol had to pay a visit to the hospital. He's doing a lot better now. But Dan, I know you wanted to bring this up because this is something that I think you've really always talked about, how you always come to me with some weird hand motions that I got to do to keep my hands and wrist proper. What did you specifically want to talk about this?
With the Incontrol thing?
Yes, yes.
Well, it's just the whole health aspect of being a pro. Like, we all sit around at our computers a lot, and you see more and more people are getting injuries all the time, and this is going to continue to happen. So people need to really look into good posture and different exercises. For instance, when I was actually playing like 14 hours a day back in America, I would make myself every now and then get up and like stretch and like pump the blood through my legs. And I mean, this was very rudimentary. I didn't have a good understanding, but I mean, at least I was looking into some of these things, and I feel like everyone needs to do that because this is like the scariest thing that's ever happened to anyone. Like when I saw this happen to Jeff, I was like, oh my God, my friend might die. You know, this is serious stuff. So, I mean it's scary, man, and I hope that people take this very, very seriously and just try to prolong their careers and their health because
Sure.
I mean, we all love StarCraft and play the hell out of it right now and play a lot of games, sit at the computer, but don't you want to do that forever instead of a couple of years and then have pain for the rest of your life, you know? And this isn't anything against Incontrol, obviously. I mean, he's actually one of the healthiest pros. He goes to the gym all the time, he eats well and stuff like that. So, I mean, that's how frightening this is because we have some people that just don't take care of themselves at all that are pros. So, I don't know. I don't know if I have a real message here. I hope that
I felt like it was a good thing to lead off.
It's kind of
with.
like a wake-up call for people that like this,
Right.
like there are ways to get injured in this, just like any other sport.
Yep. Mm-hmm. mOOnGLaDe, do you stand up and stretch? Do you do any activities?
I exercise a lot for sure. Well, not a lot, but regularly. I've always had. What was that?
Go ahead, please.
I think I've always had really good posture, especially with my hands. So I've never actually had a problem. And yeah, I usually get up after 1 or 2 games and walk around for like, I don't know, at least like 10 seconds before I play another game.
Sure.
Yeah, but I guess if one thing was to get me, it would be the clot in the leg or something. So I should probably look after that a little bit more.
Yeah. Doa, did you happen to catch Code S last night? Did you see MVPs play?
Oh, I have to add something to the previous thing.
Oh,
first,
okay.
Though.
Sure.
Okay, I have 2 things to say. The first one is that my heart like totally goes out to Jeff because having been in the hospital a couple months ago, I know how that is, and it sucks. It's not any fun at all. So I hope he recovers really quick because that is just like one of the worst things to have to deal with ever. Just the whole hospital experience. It's just not fun. So there's that, and then also like posture. Yeah, is so important. I used to get like terrible pain. Actually, my right wrist, my mouse wrist. And I tried like wrist rest, a whole bunch of different stuff, but what finally fixed it is just sitting up straighter and like getting a better like chair to desk ratio, making sure my arms were like at the 90-degree angle and all that. And like since then it's went away. I've never had it since. So if you have that pain, like seriously look at your posture and how you're sitting and your height and all that. Yeah. Because that is like the biggest thing that will fix it completely for me, and I think that would help a lot of people too. So I wanted to add that.
If your hands are like this when you play, now this is an over-exaggeration, that's bad. Yeah. You'd rather them be like this, like straight, or going down. But
put your hand up a little bit higher, Dan. They didn't see the rest. Yep. There you go.
All right, like this is bad. You don't want to be coming up to the desk and going over. That's really unbelievably terribly bad for you. It's better to go straight or to go, at more of a down angle. Both those are way better than. You just make sure your chair is high enough or your desk is low enough or whatever you want to do. And in fact, you'll see pros bring cushions and stuff to events sometimes because they know that they have to, it's comfortable, they practice like this, and it's just bad for you otherwise.
So that's what that transition was about MVP. I wasn't just randomly going to Code S. He went 1 of 4 last night. I was just wondering how much did his wrist factor into that, do you think, Doa? Or Dan, really?
Probably
well,
a
his
lot.
coach
I think
said that he was in pain, so I mean,
Yeah.
It hurts like crazy too, man. I mean, you can't think when your arm is hurting like that. And I mean, I can't imagine. I mean, playing in Platinum is hard enough with your wrist feeling like that. I can't imagine playing in like the GSL booth, feeling like that against the opponents that he had to face. So yeah, it's terrible. I'm sure it affected him.
Sure. Well, that's our little, I guess, public service announcement here on State of the Game to lead off the show. Some more news coming out earlier this week. Naniwa was announced that he was thinking of switching races. And this kind of opens up a topic on the topic of should pro players be switching races right now going into Heart of the Swarm. We'll just kind of start off with mOOnGLaDe. Do you think this is a smart move by anyone, let alone Naniwa?
I don't think the game is that different to like really think it's a good idea. So like everyone's going to start from like base scratch again or anything. I mean, it's pretty much the same game but with a couple of units. And he's Protoss, so it's like, why would you want to switch? It's a pretty fun race, I think. I don't understand it. Yeah, Zerg is pretty strong right now, but switching over means you're going to have to play a lot of ZVZ, and guess what? ZVZ is shit, so good luck with that. I think it's a bad idea for anyone, really, unless, obviously, they aren't enjoying the game anymore and they want to do something different. That's a good reason. But, yeah, if it's just to like, win more games or something, I think Naniwa does alright, so he shouldn't really be complaining.
I think some of the tweet was a little bit of a joke from him, but Dan, do you think we'll see any pros switch when the game comes out?
Yeah, I have to agree that for the most part it's not a good idea to switch because the game is so, the same, really, even though it's going to be slightly different. I can't even tell you, even back, I switched Protoss quite a while ago now, but the switch was so hard to learn all the tiny intricacies of, like, sentry numbers and, like, how to force field correctly. So to switch over and learn the tiny intricacies of the timings of Zerg or something like that from Protoss is going to be really hard and frustrating. I think most people that try to switch that are pros will probably go right back. But, I mean, if they want to switch, it's a good time because things are going to be a little bit fresh. It's going to help them a little bit. The one person that I heard was going to switch that I think is a good idea is Cloud because he's going to switch to Protoss. Terran doesn't suit that guy. I played with him more games in StarCraft 1 than probably anybody. He should stay. He was Protoss in StarCraft 1. He should be Protoss in StarCraft 2. So I think that's actually really going to help him. Terran is just not his race. And there might be a few other players like that, too. None come to mind right this second, but it's smart for a few of these guys to get with the race now. I mean, it's a better time than in the middle of Wings of Liberty, I guess, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. Doa, do you pretty much echo what mOOnGLaDe and Dan are saying?
Yeah, and I think I'd probably lean towards it being kind of a joke from Naniwa, too, because back when he lived in the Gome house, he would always like say, I should just switch to Terran. Terran's so easy. And like literally every other sentence was that for a while. So it's not the first time he's said things like that, but I don't think he's going to switch. I don't think he should either. I think he's a great Protoss player and should stick with it.
We will see when Heart of the Swarm comes out if any pros actually do switch over to another race. More news this week. Kevin Naki of IPL kind of made a soft announcement. Nothing was confirmed. Nothing's been actually fully announced from IPL, but he's talking about a Heart of the Swarm open bracket occurring at IPL 6. And this obviously comes kind of right after a big week for MLG announcing that there is no open bracket. So I thought it was pretty interesting to see that. I wanted to get y'all's thoughts and see what you think about it. Dan, is this a good move for IPL?
Yeah, that's a smart move. It's obvious that IPL and MLG are competitors, and if MLG announces they're not going to do something that the community wants, and then IPL turns around and says, "Well, we're going to do that," that's obviously something
that's what it felt like, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's what it looks like, but that's great, and it's good for the community, so there's no shame in that, I guess. But I guess also the two venues are completely different. Like,
that's a good
IPL
point.
has to make the Cosmopolitan happy. It's there again, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
So they have to make them happy, bring in a lot of traffic, get as many rooms sold as possible and things like that. That's part of the deal, obviously. So the fact that they're going to have the open bracket only makes sense. Whereas MLG, renting out a venue, of course they want to help fill up a hotel. It gets better rates and stuff, but it's like a different business model, I think, as well. So I mean, it all makes sense for both sides.
Sure, sure. And I mean, this also, I guess I should state that here we are in the middle of another week where we still don't know what MLG's doing for their tournament. Like, we know it's going to be Heart of the Swarm, but that's about it. We don't know anything else about the format. So I guess we'll have to kind of revisit this to weigh the two tournaments against one another. But, Noah, what do you think about the open bracket at IPL?
I'm really curious about it because open bracket involves that it's part of the bigger tournament, overall. So I'm like, are they switching their other tournament to Heart of the Swarm as well? Is Wings of Liberty just gone now, or is this going to be like a separate event? I think it's interesting, and obviously it's good that they're going to be focusing more on Heart of the Swarm because that's what the fans want to see, and I'm sure that's what Blizzard wants to see too. But I need more information, I mean, I want to know exactly what's going to go on with that, and we'll see. I'm hoping the whole tournament's switching, but who knows? Yeah,
I remember seeing that, I think it might have been Kevin, it might have been someone else from IPL, saying that it might be 32-person. I think that came from the Good Studio, Adebisi, saying that on the show. So I don't know whether he has inside info or what, but I mean, 32-person, that just seems like they're kind of trying to facilitate the teams that maybe had budget to send people to the open bracket at MLG that now is freed up. So maybe they're trying to get more players at IPL 6 that way.
Well, I think absolutely too. It's a thing where they're trying to fill a gap that's now kind of open from MLG not having an open bracket again, and they are competitors, so it makes a lot of sense that they would do that too. And open bracket, while maybe not the best viable thing for advertising and like making money for the company itself, is certainly a huge great thing for fans too. So I'm not surprised at all they added it on, and think it's probably a good idea.
mOOnGLaDe, what do you think? Have you heard anything about this, kind of amongst all the other players out there?
No, actually, I haven't heard anything about this whatsoever, to be honest. This is news to me, too. But did you say it was going to be like a 32-person open bracket?
That's what I've heard. This was not from anyone at IPL, so kind of take that for what it's worth.
That doesn't sound like a good idea, to be honest, because, as Doa was saying, it would be a good fan service if it was open bracket for everyone, so everyone could go along and give it a shot.
Right.
That'd probably be good for the tournament, kind of like what MLG does, I guess. But I think every tournament, an open bracket is a good idea. It gives more players a chance to participate and play, and the locals a chance to play. And yeah, I think it's good.
I also wonder if they are having it at the same venue. I don't know if they have enough space for kind of the same open bracket that MLG would try to, or that would facilitate in the previous years. So, I mean, I guess they could just get out another hall.
They should have
probably
enough
another
space
hall right next to it. But
when we were there were conference rooms that were open right next to the rooms that were being used that could house something like that. So there's definitely enough space on that floor if they do it on the same one that they did like IPL 4 at. I don't know what IPL 5 was like. You were there, Dan, but it seems like there'd be enough space.
Yeah, I mean, I never really left the Shootmania room when I was at IPL 5. So
there's a ton of space in there. I don't think it would be an issue. The Cosmo's gigantic.
Right.
It's like a city.
That was I think we were on the 4th floor, and they have 3 other convention floors, so might just be a little bit more money, but they could definitely facilitate it. So I guess we'll have to see. Is pretty much everyone right now, commentators, cast, players, the community are just waiting for some of these announcements to start coming out from a bunch of the leagues, because we don't really know a whole lot so far in 2013. So I guess we'll talk about it next week, because I'm sure some more stuff will be coming out then. But that's all I got for news. Did you guys have anything else that you wanted to bring up before we jump to the next section? You all good?
I think we're good.
All right, we're jumping to the next section. Tournament recap. This past weekend, we had the Ironsquid Chapter 2 go down, and what an incredible tournament this was, from the finals to the production to the crowd. It was just pretty much another amazing weekend for European esports. What did you guys think of it? Whoever wants to jump in.
It was pretty awesome with the Nesty chant, I have to admit. That's... I know people are expecting me to say it, but I have to say it because that was like, I got some chills. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, he was definitely into it too, man. He was on the stage loving that. So
yeah, the crowd, the crowd was awesome. I loved the orchestra. Oh my god, that was so epic.
And that's something only they can pull off. You know, if you put that in MLG or anywhere else, it's going to look completely out of place.
Well, it's Europe, man. It's cultured. What do you
Yeah.
want?
It is. It is. It fit that event perfectly. Doe or mOOnGLaDe, did you guys happen to catch any of it?
Yeah, I watched most of it. I missed some of the games towards the kind of like the last 2/3 part of it, but yeah, I mean the crowd was just incredible. I mean, a lot of that some people have been attributing it to there not just being as many esports events in Europe, but you know, for whatever reason, who cares? I mean, the crowd was awesome. I love to see that for a StarCraft event. And I have to say, that event like won me back over to being a Nest fan again. I know I went into it saying DRG was going to win it and all that, but after seeing the love for Nest and then like going back and somebody linked me a cheerful that I had made for Nest in the GSL like 2 years ago, and I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't make that. And then seeing like on the OGN video that was on Reddit a couple days ago where it's like, old soldiers never die, and I want to prove that. And I'm like, oh, Nest, I love you so much. How can I actually cheer for anyone else? I admit it. I'm back to Nest now.
mOOnGLaDe, what do you think?
You're a born-again Nestian.
I am, man. I was spawned again.
Yeah, I caught chunks of it. It was kind of an awkward time for Australian time, but I did watch now and then, and I had to watch the finals because it sounded so epic, so I had to go back and watch it. And yeah, that was a sick comeback by Life. That kid is so good. But yeah, everything about it was amazing and seems to be the standard for European tournaments these days. Coming from Poland, Katowice, I just haven't seen anything like it before. It was
Europe is. Those crowds, man, are pretty awesome.
They're
and the
amazing.
you know what? A big part of it is the venues that they're renting out, because the events over in America are a lot different, where it's more of a conference hall and they just line it with chairs. Whereas when you have like the Rise seating, it makes the entire event feel completely different. I think it helps with the acoustics, to be honest.
Absolutely.
I think that's absolutely.
That's probably why that crowd sounded so good, to be honest.
Yeah, it was.
IPL 3 in Atlantic City, they had the stadium seating kind of for that too, because they had it sort of in a theater, and that crowd was amazing, man.
But they also had that comedian, so it wasn't as loud as these European events.
That's a whole different story.
But also, I want to point out that Ironsquid was awesome, and all that extra stuff they did was awesome. But let's not forget that they have a completely different model than the other esports events, where they have a giant investor that's like, make the best thing ever. Whereas a lot of these events are in the phase where they're trying to start to make money and stuff like that, which causes like them to cut out things such as orchestras that they could have had otherwise.
Yeah, that's very true.
But yeah. If they can turn Ironsquid into a profitable thing, how sick is that?
Yeah.
So cool.
Kind of the big thing that I took away from this, and I was tweeting about it as well, Europe has set an amazing bar thus far in 2013 just for the two events, one in IEM Poland and now this. And we're starting to see here coming up in March the US events. And the crowd, I think, was probably the biggest factor at both of these two events that made the event full circle, in a sense that, sure, the production was awesome at both events and all that, but without that crowd, we probably wouldn't be talking about IEM Poland right now. So I really, really wonder how MLG and IPL is going to do this year, and how they're going to react with this crowds, because in the past, nothing is compared to what we've seen in IEM Poland, what we saw here at Ironsquid.
You also have to mention that America is way more spread out. Like, Texas is like as big as the main middle part of Europe, right? So, I mean, it's harder. Our like population centers are more split up. So I think that probably. I mean, I don't know the numbers and stuff, but definitely stuff is closer, and public transportation is better in Europe than in America, for certain.
That's a good point.
It's very true.
We'll have to see, I guess. But what an awesome event Ironsquid put on. mOOnGLaDe, you said you watched the finals pretty closely, yeah?
Yeah. I did watch it all closely. Kind of got the impression Life was very tilted at one point, specifically after the first game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what caused him to go down 0-3. He kind of had the game won at points, but then he chose to like attack Infestors down a ramp and lose his army, then commit to it some more, and then just have a terrible fight, and it cost him the game. And I think any Zerg in that position would be so furious with themselves that they'd probably lose the next 2 games. So I'd give that to him. But yeah, then he kind of just came back with his usual crazy 9-pool, 10-pool style, super aggressive. Somehow makes it worth it, even though like DRG just goes 15-pool and like counters it perfectly. It's like, all right, he's behind, but he somehow wins anyway. I don't know how Life does it, but yeah, he kind of got on a roll after the big game 4, and then yeah, just brought it home.
Do you think DRG left a little bit early in that final game, or was he just already so tilted at that point that he just didn't want to play anymore?
He lost.
Yeah.
Like, you have to kill a lot of drones, and he wasted a few. I think maybe 1 or 2 Bailings. He really needed to connect, and he just, yeah, that's like an all-in. Like, you either kill them then with those Bailings, or you're out of the game. Unless, of course, they have like 2 drones left, then you're probably gonna win.
Right. Dan or Doa, did you guys catch the finals at all?
I haven't seen the finals yet. It's on my list to do.
I did.
No, I only got to see like some of the first parts. I was like super busy that night.
I admit that I only saw the last game of the finals, but that's the one that everyone was kind of talking about, and that really was one of the most amazing ZVZs I've ever seen, man. Like, I'm like not exactly sure how he managed to hold that after, you know, being, it was a 9-pool, wasn't it? mOOnGLaDe? 9-pool?
The last
was
game?
it? Yeah, was it?
Yeah,
it was
like
a really early pool.
10-pool Bailing against like a 15 hatch.
And he goes gas before hatch, or gas
like,
before pool, you know, after going hatch first, like the ultimate worst build versus an early pool like that.
Ultimate build would win. It's just
somehow
micro,
manages to hold.
DRG choked like a motherfucker, man. It's so bad.
It was a pretty amazing game. Yeah, I mean, and Life, that's like his 3rd big championship win, isn't it now? Like, it's that kid,
Blizzard
like,
Cup, MLG, GSL, and Ironsquid, so now 4 pretty big ones.
It's like him and Parting are going to be like the 2 big names that stand out in the like years to come when people are like, well, who was good at the end of Wings of Liberty? I feel like Parting and Life are going to be like the top 2 people on that list.
Yeah. They're like
Also,
the DRG Marine King from 8 months ago or something.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Dan,
Todd just told me that apparently after game 3, Life smashed the door of his booth.
Oh, when he walked out?
Yeah.
Oh, because he walked out of his booth twice. So
crazy.
He must have been pretty tilted then. Dan, our round of 16 at GSL, are those decided through how they place in round of 32, or is that drawn?
No, it's a seating ceremony where people everyone's going to sit down on Saturday.
Because I'm just wondering, because Life 4-0'd GSL Group A.
Yeah, well, he'll get like a better pick than people that got 2nd place, and you know, there's certain seating from last season and people left or something. Wait, no. There's some way. I don't know. I never watched that show, the seating show. I only read about it. It's like
we'll watch for Caldor's tweets because I'm sure we do that again, like he does every time. But yeah, Ironsquid, you guys put on one hell of an event. We'll be waiting to see what happens with the 3rd one. And it's also, we didn't even mention, I don't think ever on the show except for when they were announced, the group play was probably the most stacked tournament of last year, I would have to say. Going into that event, the amount of players in that tournament was actually insane. Yeah, in Ironsquid. Yeah. Do you remember seeing those groups, Dan? Just the amount of like amazing players in each one.
I caught a little bit of the qualifiers, and it was pretty sick, actually. So I mean, that's pretty massive and awesome. It's online, the qualifying part, which you can't count quite as much as an offline event, but it was still like they had everyone trying for that.
Yep.
Which makes it even better that Nesty got through.
Oh yeah,
and he got 3rd again, which is what he placed in the first one. So
well, he had to save his power for tonight.
We're going to be talking all about tonight here in Code S as Nesty battles his way through once we come back from this commercial break. Do not go anywhere. More State of the Game coming up right after this. All right, guys, welcome back to State of the Game. Let me get their audio up real quick. We're going to be talking about GSL here, running real quick through the show notes. Not really all that much going on this week. Still waiting on all the tournaments to make some big announcements. So GSL run at 32, Code S now all the way through Group F. Last night, Marine King going through 4-1. Dan, was that a surprise to you?
Yeah. And it almost didn't happen as well. So, I mean, obviously, if he had hit MVP would have slaughtered him because he has like a brain deficiency against MVP. But no, it was a little bit surprising that he won, to be honest. I expected for MKP to be like third. I really did. I mean, he's played well recently, but MVP you always have to favor, especially in a group so heavy in Terrans. And Roro's been playing really well recently, and everyone has been talking about that. So,
what about MVP going 1-4? Was that as big as a shock as everyone was kind of led to believe, or do you expect that with how his wrist has been as of late?
I feel like it can go either way. Like, even though his wrist hurts, he can still put out, and he had, like, his games could have been better. He still played very well at certain points, but he could have played better. Even with his hurt wrist. It wasn't just the wrist. His play was a bit off too. His decision-making, which is affected somewhat by your wrist, but not completely. That was a little bit off. It's just, this is a ridiculously tough season.
Doa, did you catch any of last night's matches?
I didn't see last night's matches, actually. That's the first night this week I've missed, unfortunately. But I went back and watched a little bit of the Marine King versus Keen series just because I really, really like both of those guys, and that was a pretty cool one.
Was that the crazy micro game?
There was that GIF on Reddit with the micro. And I mean, the game was kind of won at that point already, but it was just really Marine King kind of showing off, I think, more than anything. But it was kind of fun to see. It was cool. And Keen is always good for entertaining builds, if nothing else, anyway. So it was a fun series.
mOOnGLaDe, you been watching any of the Code S this year?
Yeah, I've been catching mostly the Zerg games for sure. I didn't really catch last night. I think I tried to watch a little bit, but it was like King vs MVP, and TVT just kind of gets boring for me. So I missed it. But I didn't think MKP would get through. That was a surprise to me. I would have thought it'd be like Roro and MVP. That's what I was hoping for anyway.
Well, I'll ask you because I think I know how Dan and is Doa as well are going to feel about tonight. But Nesty's chances in Group G, mOOnGLaDe, what do you think?
Oh, I think he can do it. I'm probably the biggest Nesty fan of them all. Nesty said I was his favorite foreign pro gamer. True story.
Whoa.
Not even joking, man.
Sick. No wonder you're so good.
That's so cool. But yeah, I think Teju would be hard, but I think he can beat Noblesse and Sulky for sure.
All right, Dan. What?
Yes.
Real thoughts, true thoughts? Is Nesty making it through here?
Yeah. Really, really. He's super good. He's smarter than everybody. I think absolutely he can make it through this group. That type of player, all he needs to do is like hit his mechanics. Like, as long as he's hitting his injects, I feel like he's going to get through because he's just going to like out-decision people. I think he's good to go. And I had this idea that I wanted to run by Doa.
What's that?
Because I know that you are the biggest Star Wars fan, and I really like Star Wars.
It's true.
But what if, now think about this, Nesty wore a Darth Vader cape, and he was like, we remade the movies with Nesty, and in Luke Skywalker's place we could put Life, but instead of Luke Skywalker winning at the end, he joins Nesty, and they just rule the universe.
I was actually going to say I like Life as Luke, but I think he would turn to the dark side in the end. So I completely agree with you on that one, man. Yeah,
it's like anytime I see. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say if we do the prequels, we should go with what was discussed before on the GSL by various people, where Lenok would be like the early Nesty, I think, and then we would see his descent into the dark side over time. It starts with 2-base Muta, and from then it's all dark side.
Yeah, and well, it's the thing that made me think of this is that I every time Nesty's like about to enter a door, that Star Wars theme plays in my head. You know, it's like do 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 do, and then he walks in. I'm like do 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 do, just like that, man. I'm just like, oh, this is my own little world in my head where I'm just completely happy all the time.
He's got the height, man. He's imposing. He's an imposing figure, and I bet he could pick up a lot of people in the studio by their throats and like throw them against the wall or something, you know.
Well, he's like a good 1.5 feet taller than half of these pro gamers, man. So
that's true. Yeah. I could see it. I endorse this plan.
Mm-hmm.
Put me on as an executive producer.
All right, let's do it. I'm sure we can get the rights from Disney to do this. It shouldn't be an issue.
Shouldn't be a problem, though. Easy. They're doing a Warcraft movie, so why not, you know?
I don't even want to talk about that. Who else makes it out of this?
You're the real Warcraft player. How do you feel about the fact that they finally got a director or whatever?
Yeah, it's the guy that's directing Moon. Or that directed Moon. What else has he done? He's like all science fiction. Moon was really good, yeah, but it's like, I don't know. Why don't they just get like Pixar to just fucking do the whole thing CG or something? I don't want to see Avatar or something rolling around. Like that's what it's going to be like.
You know, okay. I agree. I think Blizzard CG is so.
Or is it going to be CG? I don't even know.
But it's going to be live action. They said. But the thing is like that CG takes so long to make. You can see why they wouldn't do a whole movie of it, but. I want a whole movie of Blizzard CG. I agree completely with you. Yeah, it'd
be awesome. Hold on,
but,
the chat's tearing me up. Moon was an awesome movie, and so was Source Code. Both great movies.
Oh yeah, Source Code. I didn't know he made that too. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Source Code is really good.
But I don't want to see that director directing a Warcraft movie.
Did you know that he's David Bowie's son?
Yeah, it's kind of weird too.
Really?
It is. Yeah, he is. Yeah. I think that's cool, man. I don't know. David Bowie's kind of a cool guy. He's weird, but he's very cool.
How did we get here?
As long as he's happy, though.
I don't know. Maybe David Bowie should direct the Warcraft movie.
There you go. It'll be a musical. I'm into it now. I'm very excited for this.
This is getting better and better.
Who else makes it out of Group G, Dan, besides your favorite Nestea pick? Sulky, Noblesse, and Tasia.
You know what? I think it's going to be either Sulky or Tasia. A lot of people are so sure about Tasia. But I could see there being upsets here, because if Nestea takes out Tasia, Noblesse is like he's a tricky little guy. You know, he's a young, talented kid, and he might put together a couple builds that beat Tasia or something like that. If Tasia occasionally does have an off day, we've seen Zergs from time to time beat him. So I don't think it's 100%. I think it probably will be Tasia Nestea, but I could see a little upset with Sulky coming out over Tasia.
Hasn't Tasia been sick, or is he hurt, or what's going on with him?
I was going to mention that.
Oh,
yeah, he's really having a hard time. I was actually talking to Juani yesterday, and he was saying that Tasia was having a really, really hard time practicing for more than a couple hours at a time. So if anything's going to be his downfall, I think unfortunately it's going to be another wrist issue. I've heard it's pretty bad. So otherwise I would totally say Nestea Tasia, but with Tasia kind of hurting too, who knows?
Yeah. MOOnGLaDe, who's your second pick coming out of this group?
Well, I was thinking Tasia, but if he's got wrist issues, I'm gonna go with Noblesse.
All right.
I believe in that kid. Yeah.
You're not a Sulky fan?
I've seen him before. He is very good. He's very good Zag. I should just go for the Zags, but Noblesse, he used to do really well. He used to do a lot better than he has been lately. I haven't seen him for a while, but I got faith he could mix it up.
Yeah, I kind of feel like we're back in 2011 again, seeing Noblesse kind of pop up. Or I guess that was more like early. No, that was 2011 where he was doing a lot of good stuff. He was really good in the team league back in the day too.
And yeah, Ranking's doing good. Must be.
I do recall. I feel like Noblesse's best matchup is TVT as well. So if he does
I'll
end
go
up
with you on that.
fighting Tasia, I think it'd be a good spot for him. Yeah. I think if he goes up against Nestea, if Tasia beats Nestea, and Noblesse ends up fighting Nestea, I don't think it's going to go well for him. But TVT's got a chance. Yeah.
And Group H, probably the one group that I think everyone's really been waiting to see, aside from Huck's group, which has already passed, just because Stefano's in it, also DRG, also Bogus, aka Innovation, and Hack, probably the least favored player, or I guess favorite is the best word in that group. But how hard is that group, Dan, and can Stefano actually make it out of there alive?
That's a pretty ridiculous group. He can, of course, because Stefano can beat anybody at any time. But Innovation is really good right now, and he just keeps getting better. He's so solid. That's going to be a really tough first match for Stefano. I think that's going to set the tone of the group. As far as Hack goes, Hack keeps getting better, like, very quietly. You know, some of these pros that you don't hear from a lot, one of the big reasons you don't hear from them a lot is they're not doing much aside from practice, which helps them get a leg up on some of these other guys that are traveling so much. So it's hard to say how good Hack is right now. I just don't know exactly how good he is right now, and I think that you know, he could cause upsets in this group. Obviously, DRG has come back pretty strong, but I feel like if Innovation and Hack really study his style against Zerg, which is against Terran, which has been so Ling Bane, Muta, layer heavy, creep spread heavy type of play, that they should be able to come up with something and kind of control it. So this group I find like really, really, really hard to predict. The only person I want to say I really think gets out is Innovation.
Yeah.
I really feel like he's going to come out of this group. If Stefano beats him, maybe he won't, but if he beats Stefano, I would say 100% Innovation is going to come out of the group. So, I don't know, man. It's hard to actually name which two I really think are going to come out.
mOOnGLaDe, do you have a clear, I guess, two favorites in that group?
Nah, not this group. I think Hack will definitely lose, but it's going to be between Innovation, Stefano, and Dongregyu. I think Dongregyu has a good chance of just getting out. He's playing Hack straight up, and then he'll play the winner. I think it'll be Dongregyu and either Innovation or Stefano. But I'm probably going to lean towards Innovation, because he's sick good.
Yeah, he is.
Doa?
Good call.
Is this going to be Stefano's first time in the booth for the GSL? I think he was in it once before, maybe.
Was he in the GSL World Championship thing? The Foreigners
no.
versus Korean?
He wasn't, no.
Okay, so
Well, he was. No, he was in that.
Yeah.
That was at IPL. That's not quite the same.
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about the old one. I guess the
Oh, no,
first
no.
one. Okay.
No, he
No,
wasn't.
in that one. No, he
Okay.
hadn't come up yet. Yeah. I think I'm gonna have to go DRG Innovation. I think so. I think Stefano certainly has a chance, man, but Innovation's been really, really good lately. I feel like DRG is still really, really good, and Stefano, I'd like to see him get through, but I think it's going to be DRG Innovation.
Okay. All
I'm
right.
just gonna
I think
say
it's also
it.
going to
Sorry,
It's going to
global
depend
fans.
on like how crushed DRG is after the Ironsquid. If he's like a really bad
Yeah.
place now or not. If he's really jet lagged and depressed. I mean, losing
good
like
point.
that, it's going to take something away from your soul. So
Yeah, another
That's
second place
effective, man.
loss. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he went through a huge string of second place losses before he started winning tournaments. So I don't know. It's so hard to say because he's become very stylized. So I don't know. Whenever I see someone that heavily stylized, I'm like, I know what you're gonna do. You know, before the game starts, and they just do it every time. I feel like with adequate planning, you can take out someone like that. So
that's true.
I don't know, but is
gonna
Hack
be
up to
close.
that task? You know,
Yeah, I don't know.
it's a tough one.
Well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see when those matches go down tomorrow night. One last thing on GSL, the Code A qualifiers are actually, I think today's day 2, right? Is that correct, Dan?
Oh,
Today's
yeah.
day 2.
Yeah.
It's actually they just started. The results should start coming in.
Is it only 2 days? How long does it last?
It's 2 days.
Okay.
There's
Well-
day groups and night groups, and there's like how many groups? How many guys total get through?
I can
like,
probably tell you right now here on
It's
Wikipedia.
it's
Let me
like
scroll.
19 or 20 or something like that. 21 maybe.
It doesn't
It's a
say.
weird number.
Yeah,
How
it's
many were there?
kind of a weird
Yes,
number
yeah.
because there's like we do like all sorts of weird ways to get into Code A.
Well, it's a round of 48 for the first round, right? And I think half of those are from the qualifiers. So 24, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't
Well, it
know.
looks
I don't know
like,
if it actually is half.
It's through F, so it's it looks like 12 people are getting through today.
We
And
had
yesterday
5, 7.
yesterday was 10.
What?
Are they
So are we
giving,
already
like,
getting results? Because we have
So it's
5 Toss,
22.
2 Terran, 4 Zerg already through. I guess these are putting some results in today.
Do they do like Code A seeds like they
Well,
used
they're
to
going
as
right
well?
now.
Or like
There
I
are-
mean, like foreigner seeds or something like that. Are there going to be any of those? Do you know?
Oh,
about?
they're
It's
switching
22.
the seeding system slightly in GSL. I don't quote me, but I think we're like getting rid of Code S seeds and going to up and down seeds or something like that for
Okay.
people like that. But yeah, actually, about these players that won, there was Bisu made it to the finals of his group, which is kind of cool to see because he's been sucking it up.
Hasn't he done that multiple times now? Isn't that like
Maybe.
the second time he's made it to the final of his group in the Code qualifiers? That poor guy.
Seed is back. That's really nice. I was surprised to see Lure won a group.
It's
I
17.
did not expect
Yeah.
to see that get through.
11 groups yesterday, 6 today.
Oh,
Really?
17.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
All
know.
right then.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, there was some like pretty unknown guys here. Who's HS, the Protoss? Does anyone know?
Team 8 Kespa player, that's all I
HS.
know. According to
Yeah,
Wikipedia.
I don't know who that is.
It seemed like a lot of the Kespa teams brought like their whole team to try this time. I saw a lot of players I didn't recognize, and I was told that they were all like practice players and like low tier B teamers and all that. So they really wanted to get everybody in there. It seems like on the Kespa side.
They actually let, for this qualifier, anyone that was Masters 300 points or up in.
Wow.
So that's
That's
like,
everyone.
that could be a lot of players in Korea.
There was a Juani yesterday was telling me about Revival's first game in the qualifiers, and apparently the guy's league was bronze or something. It showed, and they were like, "Oh, it must be a Smurf." Blah blah blah. The game started, and the guy messages Revival in the game. Apparently, and goes, "I'm really bronze. Please finish me off as fast as possible."
They had to get corner then.
I don't know if that's actually true or not, but apparently that happened in Revival's first qualifier match yesterday.
Should just sent his drones over, man.
Okay, hold on. Liquipedia has now updated in real time to say that there are 6 more groups this afternoon for a total of 12.
Okay, so that is 22.
Okay,
Or no,
that makes
23.
sense.
23?
23. Okay. There you go. 23 people. That weird number, but yes, 23. Well, that makes sense because 46 people starting the round of 46, right?
It's 40 round of 48, isn't it?
I have no idea. No, it
Sounds like
changes.
it's 48.
We did change the format a little bit, but this is reminding me actually. Every time they change the format in GSL, it takes me like 2 seasons to actually figure out what the hell's going on.
This is like talking to John Nelson at MLG where he's trying to explain the format, man. None of it fucking makes any sense.
Yeah.
All we know is that people are going to play StarCraft. We're going to get to watch it. It's going to be great. That's it.
Exactly.
We'll let everybody else worry about the other stuff.
Exactly. Did you guys mentioned Rain making it through? Yeah, that's probably the biggest name I guess thus far.
Well, Seed as well. I mean,
Oh,
GSL
Seed, yeah,
champion,
that's true.
champion coming in. Alive is
Alive
back,
as well,
which is
yeah.
really, really good to see. I hope that he stays up there. And
Oh, yeah.
And then Revival as well. We didn't even mention him.
I was sad and surprised to see Lucky go down to like a CJ practice partner. That Choi Sung-il. That's like a practice partner from CJ, I heard.
Oh, wow.
And he took out Lucky, who's like a really good macro Zerg. So, but MMA lost to Shine.
You can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did Shine make it through?
Yeah, Shine's through.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I mean this is a nice group of players that's going to go up there. A little bit Terran light yesterday. A lot of Protosses though. So that's nice.
Well, that's it for GSL coverage. Final thing really to talk about is Azubu adding a incredible amount of talent to their team here. They have added, so I pull this up real quick. They have added Gonzi, I can't ever say this, Bibong, I'm just going to say that, Supernova
Bung
Symbol.
Bung.
Okay, exactly like you said.
Boom, boom. It sounds like a fart, JP.
Okay, sure. Symbol Supernova, which combines with Violet Genus Top, a total of 12 players. So let's just run through this. This is taken from a commenter on Reddit. So let's see, 1 BlizzCon, 1 IM, 1 MLG arena winner. For second place finishes, you've got 3 GSL runner-up, Ironsquid runner-up, and a Home Story Cup runner-up. Round of 4 finishes in IPL, IEM, MLG, GSL, and OSL, and throw in GSTL all kill of IM. Oh, and Nada is the coach as well. So this is a pretty sick team right here that Azubu has built themselves. What do you guys think? How much of an impact are we going to see these guys make?
That's Iris over on the left of Team Azubu.
Who's
Yeah,
that?
Nada, Iris, and Into the Rain are their
Oh.
coaches.
Into the Rain as a coach?
Yep.
I just got chills on my arms.
Is he a StarCraft
It's-
coach?
Yeah, well, he was way back at the beginning of StarCraft 1, like year 2000 or 1999. Into the Rain was the Protoss. He, like, the storms that guy pulled off before anybody else were fantastic. God, everyone, anyone who's been a huge fan of Pro StarCraft since 1999 is excited just like me right now. That's pretty sick. But then he became like a commentator and stuff, so.
Yeah.
Well, they've got a great coaching staff. I mean, that's for sure. And
Yeah.
honestly, they have a really good team. They've got a lot of people there that could bring some really good games. Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Look at, I mean, Boom Boom made it through a sick group. Symbol is Symbol.
Yeah.
Supernova almost got the Nest T award.
Ooh.
Wait, did he
And then-
really? What was he at?
He was at 9 in a row, and then he fell out.
Jesus.
So sad, man. So sad.
And the thing is, it's like, it's too hard now. Sorry, Supernova, you will never get. They should make something called the Supernova Award, where you fall out in your last season. Like when you start in Code B that season, they just bring you on and give you the Supernova Award or something.
It's like the
That's a good
Lipton
idea.
Award. It's like almost Nestea, but not quite.
Oh, that is too clever to laugh at. It's one of those jokes. Yeah. No, it's a compliment.
God damn it.
But no, that's
Hooray.
becoming a pretty sick team. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really happy to see San on that team, actually. I mean, I know he hasn't done anything in a long time, but I love watching San play. He is like the craziest guy in the history of, well, almost the craziest guy in the history of Protoss players. But next to Killer, maybe. But he's a lot of fun. I'm glad to see him on a team again.
is he crazier than Hongun? Is he that crazy?
All right. Well,
Those are
Hongan
crazy.
is like crazy in one very specific way, but San is crazy in many ways.
Okay.
That's how I see it. Yeah. And Eve is on that team as well too. She's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
good enough-
I read the roster off of Team Liquid when I should have been reading it from this post. It's Eve, Inca, Genius, Top, Supernova, Sleep, Violet, Vines, Gonzi, Symbol, Son, and then, of course,
Damn.
the fart noise.
Fart noise. Yeah, let's call him fart noise
Let's
from
just
now
call
on.
them
Fart
fart
noise.
noise. Sounds better. Sounds better. So
Azubu fart noise. All right.
pretty insane team. They've already announced that they, I believe, yeah, they are going to be playing in GSTL.
Sick.
I guess, Doa, do you have any idea if they're going to be playing in Pro League? I guess next season, maybe.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean,
a really
nobody's
long
talking
time.
about the next season of Pro League, so I have no idea.
There's no way they can
I-
enter it halfway. Yeah.
You wouldn't do
No, no,
both
no, they couldn't.
anyways.
Yeah.
They're actually, the schedules, I believe, are eventually going to overlap somewhat. I'm pretty sure.
At some point, I feel like there's going to be some like great reckoning between Pro League and GSTL, and who knows what's going to happen then. But yeah, for now, I would imagine that they're going to stick on the GSTL side of things.
All right. Well, this has actually been the shortest state of the game, I think, ever to exist.
Yeah, this was
Wow.
really quick. There wasn't much that news this week, really.
Not really. I mean, there's a lot of
No.
there's a lot of drama from the owned world. If you, I'll repeat what they said on Live on 3. If you guys have VODs over on Own 3D, go get them because in 24 hours they will no longer exist because they're just deleting them. So go
Wow.
get your VODs.
Oh no!
Um,
I gotta go download all the Destiny LOL games.
exactly. I think that's really mostly for the League of Legends scene. I can't think of any big
Oh, that's
StarCraft.
Oh, did they
two.
have? Did they have like a big
That's-
LOL?
They're
presence
pretty.
on
They
that?
were pretty much like
Yeah.
the definitive LOL
Yeah.
thing, and then a lot of people started moving over to Twitch as of late. But
Okay.
yeah,
Well, there you go.
other than
Oh, well.
that, not too much news this week. Do you guys have? Is there anything else? Anything? Bueller?
Speaking of LOL, the finals for champions are on Saturday.
Yeah.
It's going to be very big.
Where's
It's gonna
that
be
being
cool.
held?
Hanyang University. It is an 8,000 person venue,
Holy
and they
shit.
sold out tickets in 45 minutes. So it's going to
Jesus
be packed.
Christ.
It's going to be really really cool.
Is there an orchestra?
I don't know, man.
Well, I don't
will
want to
play-
fucking watch if there's no orchestra.
I'll play my guitar. There's no orchestra. I'm sorry. It's worthless.
Dan, mOOnGLaDe, anything to add?
Actually, speaking of orchestras,
Yeah?
wait, actually, I'll wait till shoutouts because it's something to do with me and an orchestra, so I'll wait.
Interesting.
But that's all.
You,
That's all I
you
got.
do look like a badass cellist, so.
Yeah.
I'd be the conductor, man. You
I
kidding
can
me
see
with
No, he would be the
Oh,
conductor.
yeah.
That's true.
That would be good. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I could
What
be
was
a good
that, like, heavy metal cello? There's, like, some video where these dudes were, like, rocking out
Yeah.
to cello stuff. You know what
Yeah,
I'm talking
no,
about?
I know exactly that band. Why can't I
Yeah.
think of their name now?
It's
But no,
probably
yeah,
going to be chat in, like,
they're
5
cool.
seconds.
Oh, for
mOOnGLaDe
sure.
could be in that band.
I'll
I'd
find
like
it.
to be in that band. Sounds pretty cool.
I can't find it. All right, let's do shout-outs. This is going way too long.
Apocalyptica.
Apocalyptica.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah,
Thank you,
yeah.
chat.
Interesting.
Actually, I don't want to show them on the stream. I'll get DMCA'd or something for showing
Just
that.
Google it. Google
Exactly. Exactly.
I
Doa.
want to
What?
hear the mOOnGLaDe cellist announcement. Let's,
Oh, okay. We'll
Yeah, let's
start.
do
Let's
that
start with
first,
mOOnGLaDe.
in Hotsy's
Oh.
switching from Zerg to the cello. The cello isn't a race, mOOnGLaDe. He's like, oh shit! Oh my god!
Oh,
You've got
I
sick
just hook
cello
a,
micros.
I hook a cello up to the USB port and start microing Zag.
oh Jesus.
All right.
Straight free having
Catch.
the mice Zerg.
The Maestro Zag. The real one. All right. I'll get it out of the way. Basically, the state I live in, Queensland, the Queensland Symphony Orchestra is doing like a video games unplugged, like a concert for video games. It's called the Symphony of Legends. And yeah, anyone in Brisbane would like to go to this. It's on the 23rd of November. Yes, 2 shows the 23rd of November. And basically what I'm doing, they contacted me and they kind of want, because I'm kind of like, I'm pretty well known in Australia in the gaming scene. So they wanted to get the concert out to all the gamers in the Australian scene. And yeah, I'm kind of like, they call it the gamer in residence. So it's like pretty much just like their game that's representing them. So I'm pretty much plugging their concert everywhere. And I'll be going to the concert and getting on stage and answering a few questions about pro gaming and all that sort of stuff to all
Awesome.
the people
It's cool.
go to watch the concert, and it should be really good. It's got StarCraft music, of course, and some League music, and a bunch of other games from all different genres. And yeah, everyone should check it out. I should probably get the link for it,
Yeah.
so everyone can check it out.
Give me the link. I'll bring it up on the overlay here while you're doing that. Dan, you want to do some shout-outs?
Me?
Is your name Dan? Yeah.
I don't know what Doa's name is.
What
Oh,
is Doa's
it's
name?
not
That's
Dan.
actually no one knows.
It's Eric Lonquist. It's a very long
No,
name.
I know.
No,
what your
it's
name is.
your name's
It's
Doa.
very
Like,
Swedish.
does that
I
stand
know
for
you
Dan
know.
on arrival. Okay. So
Damn
mOOnGLaDe
it.
has
No.
that little. Give everyone that link first, JP.
Okay. Oh Jesus. I'm just gonna spam it in the chat. I'll bring it up.
Stands for Desert Oasis, of course.
Okay. Here we go.
Okay, so, well, I guess if you're in Taiwan, go and check out the Taipei Game Show because myself and Tasus will be there, and I believe there's a few Prime players going down as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. Check out the GSL tonight. Nesty is playing. It's going to be epic. Whenever you see him, just put in the Star Wars music in your head, and you'll be happy like me. And a big shout out to TT Esports, my sponsor. I'm actually going to be making designing rather the keyboard and mouse and headset this weekend, so it's going to be sick.
That's awesome.
Do you have any? Can you give us any hints to what it's going to look like, color or anything?
I don't know the color. I do know it's going to be the best things ever.
How much input do you actually have in that?
Like all of it.
Nice.
Interesting.
I don't know. If I'm designing, I guess all. Like Tasteless has some too.
What mouse do you use at the moment? Just so we have some idea of...
Use the Mini Azubu.
okay.
It's good. It's like their smallest mouse. I like small mice. Most
May I
programs
give you a
breeds are
suggestion?
small. Yes,
Mouse like...
that's what I
G9X?
used before this one. I know the G9X very well.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah, you
that
should
is a superb mouse right there, sir.
make
That
it
is-
TT Esports G9X, man.
well,
I
I
might
want to
use it.
actually like take the good qualities of that.
You
one
just
and
show up with the
splice
mouse
this
with
one.
like a TT Esports sticker on, and you're like, "Here you go."
Man,
Fucking slow walk out of there.
You wait and see. It's going to be a badass mouse and the best keyboard ever. Because I have so many ideas on how to fix a keyboard.
Nick's going with you, right? Yeah?
Yeah, we're both going down there.
Okay. If you guys have to draw anything or like give them some way, you better save that as like the limited edition release so you can
Artosis drawing.
Yeah.
It's like
package it in there, have a little art booklet, like 14-page. There you go. People would love to see that. Doa, go ahead and do some shout-outs, man.
Well, I mean, I already talked about the tournament finals that are on Saturday. I hope a lot of people watch that because it really has been a really fun tournament. Other than that, though, I started my Heart of the Swarm clan this weekend, and it's already full. So if you're not in it, sorry, we've got 50 members already. But I have a group as well, which is Desert Oasis Practice on the Heart of the Swarm beta. Anyone can join that, and there's actually always people on. It's really fun. There's always games to be played. People are always willing to practice. Always willing to have obs and talk about the game. So it's actually really, really neat. I wanted to do this to sort of kind of show people how easy it was to create a real solid community in Heart of the Swarm that you can practice with. You know, whether you're afraid of laddering, whether you just want real feedback, whether you want to play against people that aren't going to BM you, you know, or something like that. It's just, I think Heart of the Swarm is going to be really, really great for people who just want to play the game socially and have fun, but also want to have a lot of good practice, and that's kind of what the clan is all about. Next week on Tuesdays and Thursdays Korean time, I'm going to start streaming our practice, actually, and commentating games that I'm observing, so definitely
Awesome.
come for that. I'll be tweeting about it, so follow my Twitter, GGDoa, and I'll have all the information about that then. But yeah, I guess that's about it. Check out the practice group and the clan, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to get more into Heart of the Swarm. Can't wait for the next OSL, and StarCraft's looking great.
Is that region specific? Are groups and clans region specific, or?
The beta is worldwide, so anyone can join the groups and stuff. Yeah. In fact, recently I've been actually having a lot better latency on the beta, and I've only been playing against people with like Korean names and stuff. So it seems like the matchmaking, and I don't know for sure, but it seems like it's only matching you, or it's trying to only match you up against people in your region now too, which is really, really cool because that was always one of the worst things about the beta was I had to deal with the lag, but now it's gone, so I'm just having fun with it.
Awesome stuff. All right. Well, we'll see you guys. Dan, are we going back to Thursday next week?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. Doa, thank you for filling in last minute. You're awesome. mOOnGLaDe, we'll get you on a longer show, I promise. When there's more shit to talk about here in the future. That's going to do it for State of the Game, guys. We'll see you next week, Thursday, at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern. Peace.
No pants clock over here, folks.
Gotta say is it's an honor to play you, Teeler, and let's give the audience the show of a lifetime.
Oh.